Ancient Rome, literature and poetry, background. Through the takeover of the Greek Empire's knowledge in engineering, rhetoric, politics, and the art of war, the Romans created an empire where literature and art came to flourish. But only a small part of the empire's inhabitants were literate, and the writers were forced to balance on a sharp edge. In the foremost literary texts of the Roman imperial period, one sees how skillfully the writers managed to both satisfy the emperor's desire for propaganda and at the same time write harrowing literature, which to this day sharpens our thinking and makes us marvel. According to Roman mythology, it was the twins Romulus and Remus who founded Rome in 753 BC. Ancient Rome began to expand shortly after the Romans introduced republican government in the 7th century BC. In the 4th century, ancient Rome began to expand beyond the peninsula that is now Italy. The Republic expanded rapidly, and in the 1st century BC, the Romans began to call the Mediterranean Sea Mare Nostrum, our sea. The Mediterranean areas that the Romans had conquered were forced to pay taxes to Rome. In this way, the leading strata of society accumulated great fortunes. Slaves were taken from the conquered territories. Slave labor contributed to much of the production in ancient Rome. In the last day of the Roman Republic, the armies of Galus Julius Caesar conquered Gaul, now France. In 49 BC, Gaius Julius Caesar proclaimed himself an autocratic emperor, but was assassinated 5 years later by men who wanted to restore the republican government. Between 44 and 27 BC, the republic was converted to an autocratic empire. And here we have Brutus, who murdered Julius Caesar. After the death of Gaius Julius Caesar, 19-year-old Octavian came to power. Octavian took the name Caesar Augustus. Caesar Augustus, Octavian, proved to be a successful leader of the Roman Empire. During his time, much of the Roman literature was created that we still read and appreciate today. Caesar Augustus used literature and art as a unifying force in the vast Roman Empire. The authors had to write appreciating texts about the emperor and his role. Although much of what the authors wrote during the time of Caesar Augustus can be regarded as propaganda, the authors succeeded in writing transformative and deeply insightful texts that have become literary classics and which have been of great importance to many readers to this day. In the following videos, you will get an introduction to some of the most influential writers and poets of this era: Virgil, Horace, Ovid, Sulpicia, and Catullus.